Welcome to Psychic Holistic Spotlight. My name is Bill Hannon. I'm co-hosting tonight with Josie Way. We're going to be interviewing an old friend of ours who's been on the show many times and has actually hosted the show and guest hosted, Doris Bridgehouse. Hello, Doris.
Hi.
How are you?
It's great to be back.
Well, it's great to see you. Because
And this is the first time I've been interviewed by you guys.
Oh, my goodness.
First time. I like that.
Excellent, excellent. Well, that's always great. Now, seeing how we're talking about first times, why don't you just give us a little background as to what you've been doing for the past couple of years?
Well, I used to be on co-host on the show, and I think I was here about 16 years. And I've been away a while.
Wow.
I don't know how long. I haven't knocked off the days or anything,
Right,
but it's been at least 3, I think, 3
Right,
or 4.
right.
So, and of course, it's a new studio here. What I've been doing, I'm working on another poem book and a novel based on when I was a kid. What I did, I used to write a little diary like most kids do.
Yes.
And I would put excellent and good, and as I got older, I just got rid of everything that didn't say excellent. So,
I see.
So stories, you know. So I'm embellishing the stories, and that's how I will be doing my novel.
All right.
You know?
Now, I'm also interested in, you mentioned another poetry book. I have your first copy.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
And it's very nice to just open up to a page and just read and just kind of settle into
Meditate on what it's
settle into what you pick up as far as a vibration.
Yes.
So is this next poetry book going to be along the same line?
Oh,
where
along the same
inspirational?
lines, and I think even better because, like everybody that writes, you get better as you get
Practice.
older anyway.
Yeah, as you
get
practice.
better.
That's why they
Yes.
practice medicine and practice law.
Absolutely.
Because they're practicing on us, but
Yes, and I have a friend, his name is Ray Smith, and he's helping me with the editing, which I didn't have before.
Okay.
So there have been mistakes in this type of thing, but he's helping me out.
Oh, excellent.
And I've added to the poems through inspiration. I meditate a lot, and something will always pop into my head, and I'll write it. At the end of the show, I like to write a poem. It's about vibration,
sure.
so we'll talk about that a little bit
excellent,
later.
excellent.
Yeah, and I'll go ahead.
well, it's just,
I'm just noticing you're talking about one book and poems, but look at the array of books. While you're with us, you managed to get this huge book out on numerology.
and a DVD in it.
And a DVD, yes. Now we have a book on tarot, a book on your spiritual journey,
Yes.
and
This one-
another book on numerology.
This numerology book is
and
condensed.
poetry.
Is condensed with this one because not everybody, they may want a touch of it, so it's more condensed. So this one's very similar. This has more to it.
You've been very busy
I've been busy.
But I have to say,
and productive.
one of the things I liked about your first book on numerology was
Thank you.
that DVD that you came out with.
Yes.
I think I know no other book out there on numerology where the author presents the information and guides you
Oh,
by
thank you.
using a DVD. I thought that was a great inspiration on your part.
Well, I don't do that anymore.
No,
I don't
I
do
know.
it anymore because there's the TV arena and
Right.
YouTube and all of
YouTube,
that.
absolutely.
So I don't do that anymore.
But I thought it was great when it jumped off,
when it wasn't popular.
when YouTube wasn't a big thing.
Yeah, it wasn't
right?
popular. I did it. Thanks to my husband. He's the one that, I had the idea and he had the camera doing the camera
good.
work. You know?
Good.
You know. And the tarot book, what happened, I have a little story. I like to talk about my girlfriend. I was writing the numerology book. The numerology book took a long time. I was going to write a very small book, believe it or not. And I just kept getting ideas when I would meditate. And then I would work on the book and change things around. And it took me 9 years of changing things around. And I finally came to the point, I'm done. But while I was working on it, I was I belonged to the First Unitarian Church, and they had a dinner type of thing there. And this lady Carol, who I would say hello to, you know, just as a passing by.
Sure.
But this one time, she says, Doris, what has been happening with you? And we always said hello, and that was it. And I turned around and came back because that week I was thinking, I've been doing classes on tarot, and I had all these papers that I was giving away, and I should write a book. And I started putting it in order, and I said, but how am I ever going to get it together, right? And when she said that, I said, well, I'm glad you asked. I said, and I told her the same story. And she says, I put books together. She says, how many pages? And I says, oh, it's going to be around 80. She says, I'll tell you what I'll do it for free. I'm not.
Wow.
Everybody out there, listen, because something's always wonderful happening.
That's right, that's right.
I was blown away. I'm not easily surprised. Usually I get premonitions.
That's right.
But
that's
I was
right.
surprised. So we worked on the book together. My son-in-law, can't remember if he was my son-in-law at the time, but my son-in-law, he's the one that designed the cover.
Right.
And so that book went out first, and then the numerology book.
Well, I find it interesting. You got a book on numerology. You got another book on tarot, but they both deal with numbers. They both deal with vibration.
Yes,
And
definitely.
the thing that's interesting is that the numerology book, you're basically focused on numbers that are set, that change year to year, but the
Yes.
tarot changes every time you roll it out.
What I did in the book, because I tried to, because obviously you look at other books through all the years, and I wanted someone to open up a page and just close their eyes and point to it, and I have one sentence that takes the paragraph and puts it in one sentence to have like an enlightenment for that day. And I also did it for each of the cards. So someone could take a card. This is also regular cards too. That book covers that.
Well, that's
so
great.
So you could take a regular card and say you're not too sure that you want to spend, because tarot cards are expensive now. They're
Right.
around like
That's right.
$30, and that's
Right.
a lot to go spend if you
Oh,
really
absolutely.
don't want.
It's something that, right.
You may not care for it or
Right.
that type of thing. So you could buy $3 cards or
Right.
something.
Foil or-
You shouldn't buy new cards. You know, that I want to point out.
Okay.
Even the
So a deck
regular
that's been
cards.
laying around for a while,
Don't do that, no, because
don't do what?
don't buy a deck. Don't use a deck that's been lying around or
Oh,
you've been
okay.
shuffling and playing cards with, because what you're looking for, we talked about vibrations
Vibration,
a little
right,
while
exactly.
ago. What you're looking for is your vibration.
Okay.
And so
Gotcha.
I say, buy a deck of cards, shuffle them up, put them in a drawer, like it could be a sweater drawer,
Sure.
or a place that you honor. You know,
Okay.
especially if it's your favorite sweaters,
Sure.
okay? A drawer that you honor. Leave them there for a week. Sort of like forget
Pick
about
up the
them.
vibrations.
Take them out, shovel them again, and then ask your question. The best way to start is to ask a question, yes and no.
Okay.
A yes and no question.
Right.
Or you could take one card and look at the sentence or look at the paragraph that's there, and that will give you direction. Just to go back a little bit, the tarot cards came first. Then the regular cards came. So we'll say the hearts are cups, the swords are
Swords,
spades,
right.
the clubs are, what did they have? The clubs are a club.
Hatchet, right?
Yeah, there's still a club. And the diamond is like a diamond, you know, it's shaped like a diamond in the
gem,
regular
yeah.
cards. And it would be coins in the tarot. So nothing really changes. Everything's the same. We all have the same story. Everything I say here has been said 100 times, but it's the way I say it.
Right.
And maybe my own particular insight. That's
Right.
important.
That is important.
A person's insight and how they live their life, how they see their life.
Right, because the insight that you're sharing with somebody may be something that they're kind of aware of, but it hasn't been brought to their attention. And because
Yes.
you're able to pick something and it has value, and you put your interpretation on it, in
Yes.
different words, that they get the aha moment.
That's right. And because we can say maybe there's thousands of tarot cards. What makes mine better than someone else's? It doesn't.
No.
What it makes it better is how you
Interpretation.
resonate, your interpretation, how it feels comfortable for you. Because we're all different. We
Right.
need different things.
Right. Well, I'll be honest with you. I knew that there was a value to the regular cards that people use for playing, and I knew that you could read them, but I was ignorant as to what they actually meant, what the values are.
Also, now you have an understanding.
But now, well, I had a kind of an understanding, but I didn't know where to go for it.
Oh, I see.
And now I
see.
know I could just go to your book
Yeah.
and open
Yes.
it up and get the information.
Yeah, so if
from,
you see the Ace of Hearts
Right.
in the regular tarot cards, I mean Ace of Cups in the tarot cards, the Ace of Hearts are the same thing. And so they're the lower cards. Of course, you're missing out on the higher arcana cards.
That's right, that's right.
But that's another story. It's like everything's, a person should start small anyway. On a personal level, what I did when I studied astrology and the numerology, and I used the cards, the regular cards and the tarot cards together, so I could
Right.
see how
Right.
it's really all the same.
Well, you and June used to
Yes.
talk about this, bounce off each other,
Yes,
and
because
ideas.
she was really into her astrology and how coordinated certain things are. Well, I would say it all is. It's just, it's interpretation, and it doesn't go anywhere unless you use your intuition. You can memorize every book here. This whole book, you can memorize it,
Right.
but it means nothing if you don't use your intuition, because that's the door. That's the open door. And I say that with the cards too. You know, you're not telling the future. What you're doing, you're taking what you have and you're opening the door to see things from a different viewpoint. And because of that viewpoint, you've changed your life. And I always say, if the cards seem like they're a little negative when you're doing the cards, it's not negative. It means that isn't time to go there. So you had a yes and no question and you're looking for a yes and you get a no.
Right.
It's not the time to go there. Just hold back. Or maybe you need to put more into it. Or maybe you need to see something from a different perspective. Because again, we go back to energy. If you're saying positive and negative and you get all hung up in that and the yin and yang of it,
Right.
then you get lost. You lose your moment. You lose the present moment. Because in the present moment is all you have. And it's the best it's going to get.
That's right. That's a present, right? Being present for.
And that's what it is. And oh, I'm sorry.
No,
Julie,
just
you
going to say,
something?
in everything, every coin has two sides. So when
Yes.
something looks negative, maybe you need to look at the negative side of the opportunity to buy that house that later on you find is falling to pieces.
That's
You
right.
wish you knew that before because you love the design of it.
Well, that's what I meant about not seeing it as so much negative, seeing it from a different viewpoint.
Right.
Look deeper. Look deeper. And let's face it, we don't like to look deeper because we want what we want, especially in America. We want what we want it now. And that's a letting go because that's not living in the present moment. I know with my daughter, when she moved, she looked at 70 houses, and it's not going in them. It was the outside of it because she went by vibration. What house was right for her? What was the point of going in a house if you knew it wasn't right for you? It's listening to being balanced, listen to the heart center.
All right, so let's shuffle the deck a little bit here and get into the numbers, the numerology. And we're talking about, the vibration of
Yes.
numbers.
Yes. I like to talk about,
you
before we
mentioned-
go anywhere,
Yes.
this is what year this is. This is 2012.
Yes.
And
13.
I'm sorry,
13.
2013.
Right.
Don't mind me. I'm here and I'm there. I'm trying to stay in the present, 2013. And what you do for the universal year, you add up the numbers. So you have a 2 and a 0 and then a 1, so that's 3, and then you add up another 3, so that's 6. So we're in the universal year 6. And what that means, I'm going to go through the numbers because I'm going to tell people how to do their life path number, and I'll go into that, but I like to talk about the year first.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and the number 6 is, I don't know how it comes out when I'm doing it on here, but it has a loop on the bottom.
Right.
It goes into itself, so it's curved and with the loop. So, and it's touching the ground, so it's a grounding type of number. And with my book, I give all the little icons, and it's relationships, or anything to do with relationships. So it can be relationships with engagements, with marriage, relationships to each other, with friendships, relationships because it's universal year for the United States relating to other countries and vice versa. It's relationships with children, a lot to do with children, relationship with food.
Right.
See how it's all connected?
Sure.
It's that
Absolutely.
connected thing. And because the number 6 is at the top part, that's in an area they call advancement. So we're in an advancement year. So things that happen this year is like the grounding of what's to come. It's the grounding what's to come. So that's it's a very positive type of thing. when we have, we'll say the healthcare type of thing,
Right.
it can be expounded upon, it can be changed in some way in a more perfection, but it's the beginning. And that's how to look for anything new. Even with, we'll say the cars, I really feel, I don't know if it's this year, but it is going to be happening where we do come up with another fuel, and it won't be gas. So that'll be, it won't be oil, it'll be easier. I don't know if I'm going to be around at that
Yeah,
time,
right,
but
right,
I
right.
hope to, because it's going to happen, because the millennium is 2000, and 2 means it's like the number 1 is like the sun.
Sure.
The 2 means behind the scenes things are happening and will come out to present itself, but it's not talked about until it's actually done.
Right.
And that's how it's going to
Okay.
be.
Well, that's very
how it's going to
interesting.
be. Yeah.
Well, I noticed that you have a list of the numbers. Do you want to go into maybe what the value of the numbers are and
Sure.
what their significance is?
And then do the life path afterwards, or should I do
Right,
the life path first and then people can figure
Well,
it out?
it's up to you. I thought
Well,
that
it
if we
doesn't
gave
matter.
the value of the numbers, when they see the number, they're going to be able to maybe make more of a connection.
Sure, that's fine.
So
Well,
we'll
I
go to a camera here.
Should I hold them up?
There we go.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll hold them up here. Well, see, you have the number 1.
Yes.
And the number 1 is independence. And in my little icon thing, I have a crown. So anyone that has a number 1 with their life path number,
Okay.
it's like they need to be the king or queen of their world.
So
okay?
it's like developing a backbone and standing.
Yes, it's really in standing. You gave the word standing alone.
Right.
In other words, you alone have to make the decisions and figure it out for yourself. No one can really help you. I mean, technically speaking, that's how it is with everybody.
Right.
But we can have little crutches. See, if I'm a number 2, which I will show you how that works. Is the 2 going to show? Yeah.
Yeah.
The 2. See how the 2 has a curve to it?
Yes.
It's curved and it goes, let me see, it goes like this, and it is grounded.
Sure.
It has the loop here, so there's things here we don't
Looks
know
very
about.
solid.
But it has it to, it's curving, it's bending. So a person with a 2, and this could be even in their day of birth or a month, a person with a 2 needs other people.
Okay.
See, so the 1 doesn't really need anybody, okay? Needs to do it on their own. The 2 needs to lean on somebody else. And that is like that's a heart chakra. It's, the 1 is like the sun. The 2 is like a heart chakra where feelings are very important. Sensitivity, empathy, compassion
Okay.
is very important. They need to give. They need to give. They need to share. Okay?
To give in order to receive. Or,
Yes,
yeah, right.
yes. They wouldn't feel good if they weren't giving, okay? And that's a good thing. Everybody's different.
What I find with 2 when I've done numerology, it also is a number of cooperation or non-cooperation.
Yes.
And you have to look at yourself occasionally to make sure you're not trying to be a 1, trying to do it all yourself, and you need to be cooperating.
That's right.
Using, relying on others.
Right.
That's a very good point, Josie. I'm glad you made that point. The number 3 is, and help me remember this, I have a little cute story for the numbers too afterwards.
Okay.
The number 3, see how the 3 has the loop at the top and it's open, and a loop here and it's open, and the loop on the bottom is larger. The number 3 is communication.
Okay.
Okay, anything to do with communication. It can be communication verbally, it could be through writing, telephone, the kids, they really like to do that type of thing, but it's communication.
Right.
So you have the 1 thinking of self, the 2 is the feelings,
Right.
and 3 is communication. So it's building up, having a sense of self, to feel, and now to communicate. The number 4 is, they say lots of times this is the spiritual number.
Okay.
Because, now, pay attention, you have the 1, so the independence is there. And then you have the 4. This is the first number that has it above. You see how the numbers, each one has its own uniqueness,
right, yeah.
which is not one number is better than the
Sure,
other.
right.
So this is a spiritual number in the sense that you've gone through the 1, 2, and 3. Now the 4, you're looking outside yourself in a spiritual sense. It's not just here anymore. Now we have the number 5. Now, the number 5 is also interesting. It's another story. The number 5 has this little hat on the top.
Yes.
That's adventure.
Oh.
So, in other words, we've gotten to the spiritual place.
Right.
All right. Now, what can I find that is outside this little world that I live in? Where's my adventure? And with my book, I have that in the middle, and it's choices. Anyone that has a 5 in their name, it's many choices to make. It's choices all the time. It's not just one choice. You make one choice, and now there's another choice. And then we have the number 6 that I talked about, and that's the year that we're in. Except my papers are giving me a hard time. Okay, there it is. The number 6, like I said, it's bending, and it goes into itself, and it's grounded because it's touching.
Right.
And the number 6 is, like I said before, it's about anything to do with relationships
Sure.
and relating.
Okay.
And the number 7 has a slant to the 1. See, it's still there. It's still the independence.
Sure.
Okay, it's there. It's a slant. It has a 7 that looks into itself. So the 7 is, anyone that has that, it's reflection. In other words, reflecting upon what you do and what you say. And usually anyone that has a 7, I happen to know that you have a 7 for your life path number.
Right.
That's a person that always wants to learn,
Right.
have an understanding what life is about.
Yeah, I have a couple 7s, but it's amazing. I think my wife actually has something like 3 out of the 5 different numbers are 7s.
Yeah.
You know?
Reflection, reflection. And also the 7s need a lot of rest. And they need time alone by themselves.
I do.
Yes,
I most
and she
definitely-
probably, if she has that, she knows that too.
Actually, she kind of, yeah, she's very reflective, yeah.
Yeah. And now the number 8 is the affinity number.
Yes.
Okay. So anyone that has a number 8,
The
what
movies.
you do with your life, how you put it out there, comes back to you tenfold. So
Yeah.
if you do something nasty, oops, it's gonna
Yeah.
it's gonna smart.
Yeah.
If you do something that's wonderful, it's coming back to you. Obviously, you can't. In your mind, say
Right.
that.
But-
You know, it's got to be
Right.
from the heart. You know, that type of thing.
It is infinity. So.
It's an infinity number. And also people that have number 8s have to learn the hard way.
Oh,
So they make the same mistakes over and
Bullheaded?
over, to say the
Taurus?
least. Well, it's a power number.
Yes.
You know, it's a
Okay.
power
It is.
number. And now we have the number.
that also has to do a lot with money and circulation, currency.
Yes, because
you-
of that
how-
power.
Currency, you know,
How you use
circulation.
it.
How do you use it? How do you use
For
the
benefit
power?
or otherwise.
Yes, yes. And it can be also father figure, how the person relates to
I
their
see.
father figure, or how the father figure doesn't relate to them.
I don't know
Words
if you've ever
relate.
noticed, but a lot of times you go into stores, especially Chinese
Mm-hmm.
or Oriental stores, and they have a number 8 on the side of the cash register.
I can't say I noticed.
yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I haven't seen that. So that is a power number. Now, the number 9 is a humanitarian number.
Mm-hmm.
And why do I say that? Because we have the line again,
That's
which
right.
is very strong, but it's the second number that has, other than the 4,
Mm-hmm.
that has part of the number up here, but this here is round.
Mm-hmm.
So it means the 4 is how you are working with the outside forces, whatever your beliefs are. The 9 is humanitarian and giving to
Right.
other people. It's
Right.
more or less the number that I find anyone that has a 9, just let things happen to you and they'll be wonderful. But as soon as you try to fight the tide, things go down.
Now, isn't that something like a I won't say final number, but a
No, because it's not a final number.
no, I know. But there's something about a culmination of
The combination of the 1 through the 9, you could
Right,
say that, yes.
right.
And having, see, not one number like someone would say, some books will say, well, number 1 is like the baby
Mm-hmm.
and that type of thing. I don't say that because each number is its own,
Right.
has its own place and its
Sure.
own lower and higher level.
Right.
It's how you're living your life.
Okay.
And then I also wanted to bring out to the attention the 10, which is a number that it can either be karmic number or open. So it can be closed like this or open. The 13, 14,
Pi?
16, and 19.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Those are considered karmic numbers if someone believes that they're coming back to their lives and then they have these numbers in their birthday or
Sure.
in their name or that
Right, right,
that
right.
type of thing.
Right.
that means, you know, they can believe that. I feel it's just like this, you have to work a little bit harder.
Okay.
It's not quite
What about
as easy.
the master numbers, like 11
11
and
and,
22?
11 and 22 are master numbers. Any double digits, so 11, 22, 32, 33,
Three, yeah.
right down, all the way down the line are
Right.
master numbers.
Right.
And the master numbers mean that you have a responsibility to take care of what's around you. Now, say that it's the number 33. Well, that
Right.
would be communication.
Right.
What is your communication? You have the number 1.
Gotcha.
How are you doing that? Number 2, the sensitivity. Keep, you know, right
Right.
down the line from,
Right,
from
right,
that.
right,
I'm
right.
glad you brought that to my attention.
Well, it's
Do you-
interesting.
Do you have any take on the zero?
Yes,
because
the zero is.
I found my own ideas for it, but I'm curious about
Yeah,
yours.
the zero means open. So any number that is next to the zero, that exaggerates that number. It can close it in or it can expand it. It's up
Okay.
to the person. They have choices to do that.
Yeah, I've always thought of it as it adds sensitivity to whatever
To
numbers
whatever
it's
number.
with.
Yes, it does. And that can be 20, 30,
Right.
40, right down the line.
Now, to bring all this back to where we began and where we basically started, and a lot of the shows that we talk about have to do with vibration,
Yes.
energy. You know, are you in the place where you can receive information? Are you able to share information?
Right.
And we mentioned that we're going to be coming back towards a poem that you have. Could you give us a little
Yeah.
insight about that?
Okay, I wrote this poem. I was meditating, and I wrote this poem in the sense of because my belief is that we're all connected, and if we're balanced, we can actually feel as one. It's not one person better than another. Very similar to the numbers. And I like to read this poem I wrote. Maybe
Certainly.
if we have time, we can even talk about it. And it's called "I Am," and I'm expressing myself through nature. Okay.
Okay.
I am. I am. I am. I say I am a weeping willow tree, the flower that bends as soft as a breeze. I am the sun as warm as can be, the moon cooler than the snow, sparkling like the stars and as deep as the sea. I am faster than a train, stronger than the tide, no longer dissatisfied or waiting for another day, letting go of my pride and making time to play. I am, I say I am, all these wonderful things by living the connection that love always brings. And we are all those things,
Right.
just like we are each other. You know.
Right, and interesting also you're talking the connection here with the I am,
Yes, yes.
the Om,
The Om,
vibration,
absolutely,
the
yes.
universal vibration of I am.
I wish people would just take time and stay still and just say Om, just like that. And it would they would feel that sense of balance, of oneness for themselves. You know, it's
Right.
a wonderful, it's easy.
Right.
How can we go wrong with something that's easy, you know?
Right. Well, I'd like to thank all our viewers today for the joining us on the Psychic Holistic Spotlight with my co-host Josie Way, interviewing Doris Bridgehouse with the books that she's written and a lot of information that she has put together for our absorption. Whatever you happen to be ready to receive, it's here for you. So I find that very interesting,
Thank you.
where you be able to pull all these things together. And I appreciate all the time that you've done this. I have to share something with you. One of the things that we're talking about, the vibration, I am, source, God, and
Yes.
man, the vibration of hue
Hugh, that's right.
and the vibration of man brings us to the divinity of man or human. Humans, we're all humans. So, I just think that as you mentioned how things just come to you when you're open and you're
When
receptive.
you're open, yes,
Right.
yes, because you can listen. In the silence, you listen.
right,
Yes,
right, right.
that's how it works.
Right.
Yes.
So,
We'll have to
again-
get back to how to do the life path on our next show.
Okay,
Yes.
that's great. Well, again, thank you very much. We appreciate you.